Friday Night Fights, presented by Miller Lite. The return of Tyson takes an unexpected turn, and we have the man who stunned Iron Mike, Danny Williams, in our studios, breaking down the fight and challenging the heavyweight division. And what's next for Mike Tyson? Hi, everybody. This is Friday Night Fights. I'm Brian Kenny. And did I mention that we were going to have the winner of Mike Tyson, Danny Williams, here on Friday Night Fights? Well, the winner was Danny Williams. Congratulations, Danny.
Thank you very much.
How's everything going? How's the week been for you?
It's been hectic, you know, a lot of signing autographs, a lot of interviews. I'm feeling on top of the world.
Now, we had Buster Douglas in here last week. You know, of course, the man who knocked out Mike Tyson and stopped him for the first time around. Huge underdog, huge victory for him. Dealing with success, though, can be very difficult. It was for Buster Douglas. How are you going to deal with success? You
know, you got to keep your foot on the floor. You just basically do what you was doing before, train hard, and just think nothing about boxing.
What's your most vivid memory from the fight?
My most vivid memory is probably Tyson going on the floor. You know, that was unbelievable. You know, to see a man go on the floor, what I've been watching since I was a little kid, you know, was unbelievable. That I have actually done this to such a great legend.
All right, we're going to be talking more about this fight. We'll do blow by blow, and we'll talk about how he was able to knock out Mike Tyson. We're also going to look ahead to Acevedo Freitas, Diego Corrales. Looking forward to that as well.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, indeed. That'll be tremendous. Crisp stuff there, Joe. Good to see you. Danny Williams good enough to stay stateside before he goes back home to London. I'm just wondering, we just watched the fight together, Danny. Was it different from what you imagined, from what you had to experience in there, watching it again? What is it like watching that fight?
It was a very exciting fight. I can see the crowd got their enjoyment out of it. It was painful for me, but, you know, it was a very, very enjoyable fight.
First round, was it what you expected from Mike Tyson? I like your word, hectic. And that's what you expected, hectic. Was it what you expected?
It's exactly what I expected. Like I said, I visualized getting hurt. I visualized, you know, hurting Mike Tyson back, you know, and exactly what happened.
He was pretty good off the jab early on. He was boxing a little bit in that first round. Was that slightly different from what you expected?
Slightly different, and I also visualized hitting him with the jab a bit more, but he had good head movement. He was moving the head very well.
Yeah, you know, start of the fourth round, and we're going to get into this a little more, but start of the fourth round, could you have envisioned it turning out the way it did? Because everything was going against you at that point.
Yeah, everything was going against me, but I could feel him getting tired. Every single round, he was getting tired, and, you know, I knew I was going to take him out.
We're going to break out some tape a little later on. First, we'll go back to you, Joe Scott.
America's Fight Night is on Showtime with real fights for real fight fans. It's boxing's biggest bash. Acevedo Freitas, Diego Corrales, Mike Tyson, Danny Williams. Combined, they've got 132 knockouts and counting. USA Today says if you watch one fight this year, make sure it's Freitas Corrales, plus the rebroadcast of Tyson versus Williams this weekend. It's America's Fight Night on America's #1 boxing network, only on Showtime.
Well, let's go back now 1 week ago today. Mike Tyson coming back, his first fight since going up against Clifford Etienne, knocking him out with one right hand. They figured they'd get a guy who would take a good shot and then go down like he was supposed to. They thought wrong, but you got hurt early on here, Danny. You tell us what you're thinking of as you're getting hit here by Mike Tyson.
My legs are spraying all over the place. You know, I had my right hand up, you know, to block the left hook, but, you know, Mike was clever enough to get it between the gloves.
So round two now, you're fighting back off the ropes. You are hitting him with some hard body shots here, so you'd recovered from that at this point.
Yeah, at this point, I was thinking, you know, the boxing, the game plan I had in the gym was to box him. It's out the window now, you know, let's just go to war. That was it in my mind, let's just go to war.
Mike Tyson wins basically the first 3 rounds, although I gave you the second. Looking back, I might be wrong there. Plus, he gets 2 extra points taken away from you by the referee. He's a little too quick on that, and yet, you know, with everything going his way, everything changed in round 4, and then the knockout for Danny Williams. Showtime holding that off for their broadcast tomorrow night. But take a look now. These are the men who beat Iron Mike Tyson: Buster Douglas, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, all heavyweight champions, and now Danny Williams.
I knew. You look at Mike's career, after the first 2-3 rounds, he starts to tire. And he's been, like I said, he's been out the ring 17 months. I knew he was going to tire, and I knew I was going to get to him. So once I had him hurt, you know, I threw a barrage of punches because I knew, like the Holyfield fight, when you start on him, you know, he doesn't recover.
The thing is, this guy was a big, strong guy, and he showed a lot of heart. He surprised me. I never saw him show that in the films we watched. And, you know, Mike did some good things in the fight. I'm very proud of him. He showed a lot of heart in the fight. And, you know, at 38 years old, we're going to see.
You know, and here's the thing that I must have, you know, fooled the people in the Tyson camp, fooled me as well. And we showed the tape of you against Sinan Samil Sam, a tough Turkish fighter. Only last year when you fought him, and you were fighting well in that fight, boxing very well. You got caught with one right hand to the temple. From there, he was bouncing you around the ring. What happened in that fight, Danny?
Yeah, I wasn't well for that fight. I took the fight, you know, I was a big favourite and I took the fight. I wasn't well, I shouldn't have took the fight. But, you know, these things, you know, worked well for me that I took the fight because Mike Tyson's camp watched that tape and they said, yeah, you're going to knock Danny Williams out. But they didn't realise that, you know, I wasn't well at the time.
You have a very good amateur pedigree, you know, you're 31 years old, reaching your prime, and yet it hasn't happened for you. Have you been waiting then for your whole life for this sort of thing to happen? And why hasn't it happened for you up until this point?
Definitely, you know, all through my career I've been boxing at British level. You know, I've been defending my British title, held the title for nearly 4 or 5 years. And I've always been crying out for a chance to get to the elite heavyweight, to box the elite heavyweight, and I got that chance against Mike Tyson, and you know I grabbed it with both hands because you know I know I'm one of the best heavyweights out there.
You had every reason to go away in that first round, and you didn't take it, and you wouldn't take it at any point in that fight. You opened a lot of eyes. Now Tyson, of course, did buckle his knee in the first round and was visibly wobbled at times during the fight from that knee without any contact to the knee. Freddie Roach said Tyson didn't complain much during the fight, saying he only said it was sore when he was in the corner. On Monday, though, it was apparent that the damage was much greater. Tyson had surgery on his torn left meniscus, the muscle that goes over the knee. Now, rehab is said to be taking about 2 months, but the question even before the injury was, should Mike Tyson fight again? We put that question to Freddie Roach right after the fight.
Definitely a possibility that I might do that, yes, because this is a rough game, and, you know, the heavyweights, like, hitting the shots he took tonight, I mean, it's not good for anybody, and we'll have a serious discussion about it, yes.
We're going to go through the heavyweight division and who you might want next, but would you want Mike Tyson in a rematch if he can come back healthy?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to fight Mike Tyson again because, you know, I believe that I'll beat him, and I'll beat him quicker next time.
All right. Yeah, it might be some money in it for him, too, if he comes back. And you think he'd probably want to go through you anyway if he wants to get back into the heavyweight division mix?
Yeah, I think that's the only route he can go. He's got to go through Danny Williams first.
All right. Well, no, there's a few other routes, but maybe you could be right, and you might hear about that. But no, it'd be a good sell. I agree with you there. Danny Williams just getting warmed up, talking about taking on Iron Mike and what worked in the ring, his specific strategy and visualization when we come back. And it's time for Blow by Blow with Danny Williams, and if he's to make a lasting impact on the heavyweight division and be there to stay, Danny, I think it's fair to say you're going to be doing it off your jab, which you've shown in the past. I mean, you got to Tyson with your body work, but with your jab, I mean, that's where you've really made your mark. We go back to last year, and this is a fight you lost where you got stopped by Sunil Sam, but you're showing off a very good jab here. Now, where do you get the power from your jab?
All from the hip. You know, I've watched Larry Holmes for many years, and I've watched how he threw his jab. You know, I've tried to copy that. And in this fight, you can see me actually throwing the jab, trying to be like Larry Holmes.
You double up on your jab on a regular basis. That's, you know, you must be working on an awful lot.
Yeah, definitely. We worked on that for the Tyson fight as well, but it didn't come off.
Well, it started that way, and then it suddenly became a slugfest inside. All right. When you're in the ring with Tyson then, when you were boxing with him in the first round especially, before you even got hurt, were you trying to move him in a certain direction? What were you trying to dictate to Tyson early in that fight?
Yeah, well, what we're trying to do is work lateral movement, you know, move a lot to the right. Because if you watch a lot of Tyson fights, he's knocking a lot of people out with the right hand nowadays. Look at his last fight, Clifford Etienne. So we're trying to move to the right to get away from his right hand.
But now you're coming into his hook, which is his bread and butter, is still to swing up and nail you with that hook. Now, you were going in that direction. Now, you think that's the better way of doing it?
That's right, but we're using lateral movement. So he's moving to the right, but to the left, but mostly to the right. And my right hand was up, you know, so he would catch the left hook.
You ate some really good shots, though, to the body. I mean, you absorbed some punishing shots to that side.
Yeah, that's why I was doing like thousands of sit-ups a day, you know. I really made it hard because I anticipated that Tyson's going to go for my body.
Now, again, you made your mark on him, even when you were getting hurt, by going to his body. I mean, how were you able to kind of, you know, plant those seeds to reap the benefits later on in that fight? How were you able to do that while you were getting hurt?
Because basically I visualized, you know, getting hurt by Mike Tyson, and I said to myself, regardless of how much I'm hurt, I'm going to give it back to you, and I'm going to keep working his body. And, you know, Mike Tyson, when he's not training, his weight blows up to 20 stone, you know, and he has to get back down to 16 stone. There's a lot of, you know, energy he's losing. So, you know, it's hitting the body, and that would drain him, and you lose stamina from that.
Now, you fought off the ropes very well on this especially, and usually you figure if Tyson, what he was doing, and he's winning those rounds, if he pins against the ropes, you're going to be done. And actually, you backed him off. Well, give me your favorite combination if you're off the ropes, where he's coming in, because he had that right hand swinging over the top. He was able to get under, but he wasn't able to get away from that.
Yeah. Well, so what I was doing, I was dipping and then coming and throwing to the body. you know, and basically breaking his body down, you know, weakening him. And by the 4th round, you could see he was totally finished.
Now, you'll rip down and then move up.
Yes.
And rip and then move to the head, and that sort of thing.
Yes, yes.
Well, tell me about your right hand. Do you try to get that? Do you shorten up on that right hand? When you almost finished him, it seemed like you shortened up on that right hand to catch him close here.
Yeah, I shortened up on it, you know, just basically shorten it, and then, you know, from there comes all the shots.
Mm-hmm. And with real authority at that point. You got into a good, as he withered, it seemed like you were getting more strength.
Yeah, you know, we trained very hard, so, you know, as the rounds were going on, you could see me throwing more punches and getting more stronger.
You were in the ring sparring with Cliff Etienne, who fought Tyson last year, and also Sherman Tank Williams, strong guys. What were you preparing for Tyson when you were sparring with those guys?
Well, what I was planning for is, you know, to keep them at the end of the jab. Keep moving my head, keeping them at the end of the jab, moving left and moving right, you know, making sure Tyson doesn't get set, because, you know, when he gets set, he loads up and he hits you with good shots. That's what I was planning for, but... You know, if you see the fight, when I got in there, I actually went toe-to-toe with him, which is exactly what we as training not to do.
Yeah, you didn't want, but you got to throw it all the window when you know when it gets on and it gets heated inside. Yeah. Look like you do all right though when things you know, get heated and get crazy, don't you?
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's the sign of a good fighter. That when you get hurt, I mean, when it doesn't go to game plan, you can fight and win. You know?
Yeah. No, a real fighter.
Yeah.
By the 265, you're all dressed up. You don't look like you're 265. You got the weight here, huh?
All there. So, you know, that's why when Tyson hit me, I was able to absorb his punches.
All right. Thank you very much. Good talking to you again, Danny. Good blow-by-blow here with Danny Williams. By the way, great fights coming up here in August.
Just mention the name Mike Tyson, and you're guaranteed to garner a truckload of strong opinions one way or the other. See, like it or not, love him or hate him, there's just no ignoring this enigmatic powder keg who went from boxing's youngest heavyweight champion to its biggest question mark in a couple of turmoil-filled decades. He was once spoken of in the same sentences as Dempsey, Lewis, Marciano, and Ali. But now the jury is out. Nevertheless, a strange strain of curiosity, resentment, and bloodlust seems to follow Tyson wherever he goes. Earlier this year, when he was upset in Freedom Hall by Louisville slugger Danny Williams, he almost seemed more interesting in defeat. But where does the one-time baddest man on the planet go from here? How did he end up on his back against a journeyman like Danny Williams? And where exactly does his boxing legacy stand? Our panel will be back with some answers after this brief look at subject number 1, always a hot topic, Iron Mike Tyson.
Tyson's in Louisville, and the crowd's in an uproar.
Here comes Tyson. A left uppercut staggers Williams. Big right hand by Tyson. He is digging in.
Danny Williams has still standing.
Pushing Tyson back. It's competitive now. Big right hand. And down to the canvas. It's Mike Tyson. It's over. Danny Williams has upset Mike Tyson.
When looking at that fight and calling it, did you realize this isn't at all what I expected?
Probably midway in round 2. Round 1, as you remember, Tyson had really rocked Danny Williams. I mean, he hit him with some monstrous punches.
Sticking to the body. Left hook to the jaw. Another left hook upstairs. A left uppercut staggers Williams.
For me, the minute the bell rings ending round 1, the script is thrown out the window. Danny Williams was picked for one reason, because he was emotionally vulnerable, because he had virtually lost it before some of his biggest fights in England. And when you add the fact that Tyson hit him in the first round and hit him off.
And then about midway in round 2, Danny Williams was doing what he said he was going to do before the fight. That jab was getting there. He was landing some good body punches. He was starting to push Tyson back. After that second round, you started to think something's afoot here.
Now back comes Williams with a left-right combination.
And that was the uppercut by Williams. He's ripping those shots.
It's competitive now.
What did Tyson do wrong?
Well, he hurt his knee. That's one of the big things he did
And
wrong.
we know that.
Oh, we know that. He legitimately hurt his knee. Now, would he have knocked out Danny Williams? I'll tell you what. You can't say yes unequivocally, but he would have had a lot better chance, because I really do think that, at least emotionally and mentally, he was in better shape than he had been in previous fights.
I have to say I disagree a little bit, because while I do think the knee injury impacted him, I believe that since he didn't hurt Danny Williams and get him out of there in that first round, I don't know that he would have gotten him out. And because of that, I think that he was going to get fatigued after 4 rounds anyway.
Tyson in some difficulty here in round 4. Big right hand by Danny. Oh, that one got him off the ropes and down to the canvas. It's Mike Tyson.
You saw him laying on the strands there, and I don't know what was over his eyes, but he looked very aware that he didn't want to get up.
He's very inconsistent in that way, and he's hard to define because look at what he did with Lennox Lewis. Yeah. Look what he did with Buster Douglas going back 900 years ago. He took his beating like a man.
By the way, not lost in the shuffle here should be the fact that that fight between Williams and Tyson, one of the most entertaining that you could possibly see.
And the best heavyweight fight of the year.
Because it was also skillfully fought during that period of time, even by Tyson and by Williams.
Was he emotionally wanted anymore? What do you think?
No, I think he's confused. And the most interesting thing about Tyson to me is that he's been on this downward spiral, yet at the same time, and this seems to be conflicting, he's a survivor. Whoever would have guessed that when he was 22 and 23 and driving into cars and all this stuff and Robin Givens and everything, that he would still even be around fighting for 7-figure purses.
That's a good point.
In 2004. You know, I don't know if he knows if he has the emotional commitment to be what he can be anymore.
Thing we all agree on, I think, is he is a compelling figure in the history of boxing. Back to talk more fights in a moment.